welcome to Reality After Show coverage of House of Villains, Season 2, Episode 8. I'm Jonny Fairplay, joined as always by Jenn Hoffman. Hello, Jenn Hoffman.
Hi, Jonny Fairplay.
Oh my. Season 8. I like this episode. This episode kind of blew away last week's episode. Am I right?
Yeah, I think this one in terms of like entertainment. Well, yes, but you know me because I'm a psycho, so I like looking for little details and hints. So last week was like a treasure hunt for me to go find like little hints of what was happening or gonna happen and foreshadowing. I'm such a dork. So they both were very entertaining for me. I liked them both.
Yeah. So, well, it's night 12. They have just left the hit list ceremony. They come out of the bookcase, and Safari asked if he is a pawn, and Candy's great, and it's like, sure, yeah, that's what I meant by putting you on the hit list. So,
Candy does confirm, though, in the confessional, saying, well, Safari is a pawn and he wants to
for
let...
now.
For now, at least for now,
Yeah.
because Larsa and Victoria, right before Safari asked this, already started going at it. So the easiest thing to say is, yeah, like you said, yeah, sure, because there's another misdirection of Larsa and Victoria already fighting.
I'm not sure that I think Candy convinced herself that Safari was a pawn after the fact more so than doing that and making so like I think Candy was cool with those three, any of them going, and then when Safari's like, I'm the pawn, and Candy's like, that makes the most sense that I didn't think about.
Yeah, I should back up and say that you're right, because obviously the confessionals can be filmed at any time. They could pull you for one. It could be a pickup a little bit later. But yeah, I agree with you that Candy was like, sure, you're the pawn. But I also do think it had something to do with the fact that as Safari's asking this, Larsa and Victoria are actively fighting, and Teresa and New York and all these people are getting involved. So for Candy to look up and just be like, sure.
Yeah.
It's convenient.
We literally had Larsa and Victoria raising their hand to be the real potential victims of this. Like Victoria could have been like, I'm the pawn, placed some kind of divide between the two, but they're like, no. We want to go home is literally what they took turns saying throughout the episode.
Victoria's like, I'm sick of being in the house. I took someone who's sick of being in the house. Larsa, she's just like, says she's sick of being with this old lady. Larsa says she doesn't want to keep acting out of character, so she doesn't like being in the house. So they're basically I mean, obviously they don't want to go home, but they know that they're on the hit list, so they're justifying it by basically being like, well, I don't even want to be here with these crazy people. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny how you can get into your own head and literally nominate yourself without purposely nominating yourself.
Right.
I enjoy on Survivor that, Richard Hatch, he said to me that he, when we first met at the All-Star thing, he didn't respect the way I played the game because he felt I played with too much emotion. And what I conveyed to him back when it was 39 days was we would have tribal council, we would get back, and that next day, whatever personal problems I had, I would attack those people because they bothered me. And I'm just like, I don't like you. Here's why I don't like you. I would, it was like Festivus every 3 days. I would air my personal grievances.
And that makes them trust you.
Yeah. So, but I knew after, once I got that out after tribal, I had 2 more days to take that target off myself, pick 2 other people that, either one of the people that I aired my grievances about, and then another person, and have them combative towards one another. And then when it comes time for tribal, it's just like, well, they hate each other. We have to do the island gods work for them and get rid of one of them because they obviously can't be here together. Like everyone else is harmonious, including myself, who has not aired any grievances in 2 days.
Right. No, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. It's like, it's if there's not somebody strategically, threatening you right now, then the default does always. This is on, like, happens on Big Brother, happens on Survivor, even happened on The Apprentice. Even though Trump's doing the firing, the team reports back to him who's making the trouble. If
Yeah,
you see two people going at it, then the target becomes on them. But if you just air your grievance and say your problem and squash it, and then either turn it around yourself or let other people go at it,
yeah.
then the spotlight's on them.
Yeah. So, well, Victoria and Larsa are like, pick me, and it's like
Yeah,
not a problem.
yeah,
So, Victoria's crying. This has all been a lot for Victoria, and I'm not upset like you. Like, I see where there is an annoyance to some of the other villains. However, I do feel like Victoria's gone through a lot,
yes,
mentally and verbally abused, and if New York sees this as well, then
yeah,
I'm not crazy. And
yeah,
so,
oh yeah. So yeah, when New York says that she wants to speak for as a whole, as the whole house, or a whole for the house,
sure,
whichever, and says the house has been too hard on Victoria, and even Wes is like, things are crazy when the voice of reason and compassion is New York. Like, she's like, this is too much. You guys are torturing this person.
yeah,
That someone's been tortured. And I completely agree with you. Yeah,
yeah,
Victoria has brought a lot of it upon herself, but
yes,
it's like a cycle. She'll bring some upon herself, but then she's being such a whipping post and so abused, and then also gaslit by Larsa, and then being bounced around by the guys who were like, yeah, you're our best friend, and then like messing with her. So like, her being emotional all the time makes sense.
yes. So, well, Wes asked for a little grace, and Larsa agrees for 1 second. Oh, actually, nope, she doesn't. It was less than a second. So, yeah. So Larsa's in on being nice, and then it's like, no, I can't do it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we it's almost time for bed, and Safari unzips Larsa from her outfit.
Yeah.
Now, I think we all know this is purposely done.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I mean, Safari's been flirting with Larsa. Larsa's been standoffish at times, and then because she knows Safari has a crush on her, but
Sure.
then like conveniently, like, oh, we'll sit down and be a little flirty with him, or unzip my dress, or just get throw him a little bone every once in a while when she needs one.
Yeah. I think Safari's ready to throw a bone.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm literally watching this. I can there and just like, that would not be me. Like when I did House of Villains season one, my girlfriend and I, this is before we're engaged, but we're still, in a very committed relationship. She was just like, look, I don't know who's going to be out there. However, if you're sitting poolside or by the hot tub, I do not need these beautiful women applying sunscreen to you, and so if you watch, and production, I think, caught this a few times, maybe a couple more than I needed. If you look, it's either Shake or Johnny Bananas applying sunscreen to my back, like every other episode.
That's very funny. Like, see, only the guys.
Yeah.
Uh,
So bananas would embrace it because he's just like, oh yeah, this is making it on the show. And then Shake would like Shake's apply,
like,
like if he had a stick to
yeah.
apply suntan lotion, he would have used it.
Well, you were a good boy.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, so it's the next
But Martha's
morning.
not being a good girl though, because she does say, "I have a boyfriend." I mean, sort of. Do I? I don't know. Maybe. And it seems that she does have one, but now,
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, the next morning, Larsa has a ring on, and Safari's like, "What's the meaning of that ring?" And she's like, "Oh, my boyfriend gave it to me." He goes, "Your boyfriend?" She goes, "Well, my ex-boyfriend. I really don't know our relationship status." And it's funny because Bananas, he was dating going into House of Villains, and I'm like, "Don't you have a girlfriend?" He goes, I'm really not sure what our status is. And I think he did know their status. And for the record, Bananas really, I don't think he did anything wrong. Like, there's a couple compromising positions, but, from everything I saw, he remained faithful, but the the pursuance was definitely on the other side by
Oh, absolutely.
Corinne.
Yeah.
And but you know your relationship status going on a show.
You definitely do or should, especially if you're going on a show, you should make sure you know because and also make sure even if you're in one, if they're okay with you pretending you don't, because let's say a showmance helps you. So like
Sure.
you know what's going on, or if you're in any sort of relationship, at the very least should have had that conversation before going on a competition show. So,
Yeah.
Larsa,
Well,
come on.
I don't think Bananas mentioned his status to Corinne or
No,
Anfisa. Like
but this
I'm
makes
fully
a lot
aware
more
because
sense. But it
what's
makes a
that?
lot more sense though. Now this makes sense, which I wish we had. I never thought to ask when we were covering season one because Corinne and Anfisa both seemed very interested in it. I mean, Corinne was throwing herself at him,
Yeah.
and I was wondering what the deal is because he played into it just enough to not upset her, but clearly was rejecting it. So I was
Yeah.
wondering about that. Like, was he genuinely interested in her? Was he in a relationship? Like, what is the deal with that? Because he could have played her a little more by like doing a little fake showmance or even triangulating the two women that, were into him, but he didn't. So I always wondered why. Now I guess I have the answer.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like we have our phones, while we're filming House of Villains, and so at night I'm on the phone with my fiance, girlfriend at the time, and she's literally talking to Banana's girlfriend, and they're, it's just like, is he doing anything? Like, and they're just like, I have not seen him do anything. I'm not, and so the next day I'm just like, hey, just a heads up, dude.
Yeah.
Like questions are being asked and I'm answering honestly that you have not. He's like, oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, we really haven't figured out. And I'm just like, yeah.
Okay.
Prior to filming House of Villains, I met Bananas at a charity event, and he was with his girlfriend.
That's your girlfriend. Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's redemption time, and hashtag TBT
Yes.
Throwback Thursday.
Yeah.
Happy Thursday, everyone. So it's time to drive to the redemption challenge, and productions real quick to say the three hitless people in the first vehicle and everyone else in the other vehicle, and Victoria's like,
Ugh.
awesome, as long as I don't have to ride with Larsa, I am good. And no, that means the three of them are
That
right.
means you are literally riding with Larsa. Like that's exactly what they said. Yeah.
Yeah. So I loved it. That's one of those deals where I'm with production on this. So,
Yeah.
and I would also imagine, I'm not positive, but potentially the other three got there earlier to go over stuff, and then the other people arrive, and so
Yeah, well, they had the three standing up and we can, into the setup, and the other people are seated. So they probably also, because this is the Redemption Challenge, is to cap it off. That's why they did the throwback Thursday, because it was a throwback to people's favorite from last year, which actually was pretty funny at times last year.
yeah.
So to the point, they do have to set it up, and because not everyone is the brightest bulb on this season, especially, probably had to explain the rules about 1,000 times and what they needed to do because
Yeah.
Will McHale's only
Do not hint at your answers.
yes,
And by don't hint at your answers, don't go when
right,
there's
right.
Bobby lights.
Even explaining this is so the game is they show like a screen grab or like a photo of something that happened during filming, and the three contestants have to give it their best funny caption.
Well,
uh
they must not have explained that last part,
no,
Jen, because
no, it was painful.
so I literally said last week, I go, I think they're just going to redo Cap It Off right?
Yeah.
I was like, that's what it looks. I'm like, they're going to the same comedy club.
Called it.
This thing was great last time. You had Bananas versus Shake versus Bobby Lights. They were the three best people for that. Like, I would have liked to have, thrown my hat in the ring for something like this, but not being nominated is even better. Being a part of the hit list. So but I think I would have fared well. I thought Shake was good because he wasn't funny, but he was funny not being funny.
Right. Yeah,
So
because like it was awkward funny, so it still kind
yeah,
of was funny.
yeah,
You called this. You said it was going to be Cap It Off, and you also said that this cast in general, without even knowing who was going to be on the hit list, might struggle with it a little bit more.
yeah.
And
Well, and I said these three people might be the three worst people that could do this, but it's just like, okay, well, maybe it's going to work out like Shake. Them not being funny will make it funny. No,
right,
it was my first prediction. These are the three least funny people in the house. Well, maybe Teresa, but otherwise, these are the
yeah,
three least funny people in the house, and they showed it.
it was bizarrely unfunny because it's like you could just. I mean, there's. Look, I'll give them one thing. I do actually think the photos that were used last year were a little bit funnier. Some of these were a little more um like they didn't give them the help you could give them, but that also gives you a blank canvas where you could say anything and then make
Sure.
it. And what I had said was then just roast the person. If it doesn't have to be a joke,
Yeah.
roast, like they have someone in the shower, they have a picture of Wes looking evil. If you can't think of like an evil joke or a thing about Wes, then just roast him being a ginger. I mean, just say anything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, but they came up with nothing to the point where the fourth wall was broken and after New York says none of these are funny and she can't take it anymore, they put up a caption from production saying, "Unfortunately, we agree," and they fast forward through a bunch of them so we don't have to suffer through the just how bad it was.
They literally fast forwarded through the answers because I was just like, okay, and I'm like, wow, they really are. And then they continued to do so. It was so bad. And I was just like, wow. I'm hoping they fast forwarded through a couple funny answers just to drive home the effect, but I don't think so.
I
I
don't
think they
think
just weren't
so.
funny.
No, because it was so not understanding the assignment or being funny. It was like both. It was like they didn't understand how to make a caption funny and they weren't funny. So, because it just like, so you can tell someone's trying to making a joke and the joke is just like a bad one. That happened
Yeah.
a couple times, but other times it was just like a rambling caption that wasn't even a joke.
Yeah.
So
I would have literally typed like fart noises
yeah,
and just
that's
I
what
mean,
I was saying. That's what I was saying. Like, while these were a little bit more plain, like I feel like in the first season there was more going on in the photos they
like,
gave people. In this one, since it was such a blank canvas, if you couldn't think of a joke, you could have just, I mean, had something like that, even like in parentheses while holding in a fart, or just something. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that. Think of
yeah,
something.
or just do like asterisk fart noises, and
Yeah,
and you literally have Joel doing fart noises, and people are just like, oh, well, that's. I mean, who doesn't? Everyone laughs at farts.
yeah. Well, I would also throw a few jokes in when nothing's funny to throw something like that in,
Yeah,
or even throw in like crickets with an asterisk, meaning like it's not going very well. That would
yeah,
get a laugh out of everybody.
yeah.
Like,
They're just
yeah,
like, so yeah. Like, I mean, this was. I guess it was good in that it was so bad, but was it?
was it? No, I actually thought that like because there's a part if it was like that that's what I'm saying, if the jokes were like attempts at jokes and they failed so bad, then there would be like something at least interesting, but it was almost like they didn't know how to even attempt a joke, therefore it was just like it was tragic.
Yeah,
Comedy and tragedy, there was
yeah.
more tragedy than comedy.
Do you think they ruined this for season 3?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You think it's still salvageable? So like if production's sitting there, they're writing out season 3 and they're just like, oh well, cap it off, and they're like, no, just remember back to season 1.
Yes, I think that they will be more mindful maybe of like when they have it. They might have an alternate time to put it in. Um,
Yeah, well,
because
it sucks because like I feel like so much of this is just set in is just like we have
yeah,
this we have Jax's setup. I mean, I feel like
comedy club
Jax's
during
place.
the day though, that I mean that's like, in that area is
Yeah,
probably
it's a comedy club in the valley. So
yeah,
and it was crazy because they walk in and they're like, "Oh wow, this is nice," and I'm just like, "Wow, they must have used all the money they made last time to upgrade the place because I thought it was a shithole."
yeah. Um, yeah, that's what's funny is I've done, comedy in LA at all these different places, and I was just like, couldn't even remember where that place was. I was like, I don't even know what this
Yeah,
is. So
it's in the valley. So no, yeah, I've done. What's that place? The oh my god, what's the place? It's outside of the gas. Not the gas house. The
Ice House?
yeah, I did a stand up there with
Oh
Terry
wow.
Joyce
That's like
from Last
that's a
Comic
legit venue.
Standing. Yeah, and what Godfrey was there. So
It's a legit venue for
I
sure.
was on with some heavy hitters.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Mhm.
It went okay. So nothing great. So, I discovered then that I don't love comedy for the sake of comedy. I like this version of comedy a lot more.
No, me too. I can't do stand up.
Yeah.
It's not my thing. No.
Well, I prefer to sit down. Thank you.
I
That's
prefer
yeah.
to just
It's
lay down. Um,
thank you. Thank you so much.
oh,
And I'm thinking this is so bad that if you notice, this is never referenced once they get back in the house. Like, like, oh, that, like it's just like if we don't talk about it, maybe it didn't happen.
right. Yeah, totally. And then it's like and I don't know what order because they could obviously have edited the jokes in different order, but this is why I'm also thinking there weren't funny ones that they left off, because they would have used whatever one was like the biggest banger,
Yeah.
especially if it had come from Safari, because Safari wins by having one joke that makes them laugh a little bit with the jail caption with Teresa. So
Yeah.
it's like if they had a joke that had come across funnier, they would have shown that, because they had to show that somebody had to win by
Yeah.
finally saying something marginally funny that got like a giggle.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
literally when they showed the picture of Teresa, I literally wrote in my notes I see the picture of Teresa and I write home sweet home. That's
yeah,
what I write on my notes.
yeah.
And
So
then yeah.
that was the winning. Yeah. Wait, was that
Yeah.
the winning one or did somebody else write that?
I don't know. It was one of them. So,
Yeah.
but if it wasn't the winning one, but there was all these other words, but like all you write for that one is home sweet home, that
Yes.
land.
Right.
So it doesn't need a paragraph before it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but comedy's tough. Comedy's very tough. Yes.
It is very tough.
Yeah. So as far as off the hit list, so we're back in the house. Teresa is torn. Well, I guess leaving the house in the SUV going back. Teresa's torn, and Wes goes, Teresa, I'm just putting my vote where your vote is,
Yep.
and I suggest everyone does the same, and so there's no blood on our hands, only on yours.
Yep. And she's like, instead of pushing back, she's just kind of like, Wes, like, don't do that to me. She's telling us that she doesn't want to go against a housewife because there's a code, but she feels bad for Victoria. Wes knows this full well, so he's like, well, we'll just do what you do.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
smart move by Wes. So,
Mhm.
uh, did you ever? I don't know if I sent you that clip. Did you ever see the clip of Wes on the challenge talking to Josh from Big Brother?
I don't think so.
It is like the greatest thing. I mean, like I love Josh. Josh and I are friends, but and it's ridiculously mean, but I think it's hilarious. So and I don't know, Josh probably does not, but it's wet. So they're in deliberation, and Wes, gets to decide who goes in or whatever, and so he's like, Josh, why should I not put you in for elimination? And Josh goes, look, do what you got to do, but know that it's going to come down to me and you, and you probably want to work with me because if you don't put me in, but just know and Wes goes, stop right there. It is not coming down to me and you. It will never be about me and you. I am great, you are a loser.
Oh my God.
Like no one's like I'm not. I haven't said your name not because I'm scared of you, just because you don't exist in my world. And he was just like, okay, but just know, like when it's me and you later. But and he goes, it's not though, because
Yeah.
you're nothing. And Josh is like trying to build himself up, and he goes, nope, not
No.
true.
Nope.
Not a word you're saying, like you don't exist in my. Oh my God, it's so like it's just the pacing, the verb. It's one of the greatest things ever. So I will shoot you that clip. So and everyone else just look. I'm sure just Wes the challenge. Wes berates Josh in the challenge.
Gosh,
It is
yeah.
insanity. So we're back in the house and we see a ring introduction from Safari for Jesse, and he refers to Jesse as 6'8", Mr. Pictacular, and unless Jesse has gotten a surgery that I'm unaware of, Jesse's about 5'7".
Maybe that was maybe Safari meant it like because he's not. Because Jesse is like the opposite. He's one of those like stocky, like
Yeah,
jacked guys that's a little bit shorter but stocky. But
sure.
yeah, I caught that too, and I was like, I didn't think Jesse was tall.
I think
Uh,
New York is taller than like at the end when they're doing the villain arrangement. I feel like New York was taller than Jesse.
if she was wearing heels, she might have been because I think New York's like
Yeah,
5'4" or something. So like in heels, very possible.
yeah. I think
Uh,
New York is like 5'2".
yeah.
So,
Um, but I will say that it also I don't know when Jesse's supposed thing is coming, but they're giving Jesse a little bit more time with getting like showing that he's becoming a little bit impatient. They show him flex his muscle and say like I have this choice or this choice, which I feel like I always noticing the foreshadowing stuff. They're finally showing him. Last time they showed that he was in his costume, like as Mr. Spectacular, which kind of was more silly. And then this time they show him flexing and starting seemingly getting impatient with how he's perceived and how other people are behaving in the house. But
yeah,
that's about it.
wrestlers do not like them referred to as costumes.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
That's his persona. His I don't know what is it called? It's your
ring gear.
okay. So I'm like, okay, sure. You want to call it that?
I mean, it's funny because I know people that cover professional wrestling, podcasts and whatnot, and and most of them, are just bros, and it's just like ring gear, blah blah, whatever. But I know people that cover professional wrestling that also work in theater and like and musicals and stuff, and they refer to their outfits as costumes,
I'm
and
a
like
I'm a theater nerd. Yeah, come from the theater. So to me, it's like
yeah.
costume. All right, ring gear. I do like to know the appropriate
Yeah,
term or what people refer to it as. But
yeah.
okay.
So, but
Uh,
my buddy that works in theater that calls them like wrestlers listen to these podcasts and they're just like, oh, he said
uh,
costume. Oh, I think that's funny. So, we see New York interacting in the house quite a bit this episode. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, who are you? This is not the
yeah,
New York that I saw in season one at all.
right. You said she spent a lot of time by herself, keeping to herself in her room, not caring about it, not interacting. But she's like almost like a mole producer.
Yeah,
From the first move of the FU button to talking to people to making announcements like I speak for the house to also when a week or two ago when they were like Joel McHale was like, well, you don't have to talk about anything till tomorrow, and she's like, well, I want to talk about it right now. To
yeah,
she is just constantly producing the entertainment for the show, fighting with Teresa, then saying she thought that's just a joke, but I'm like, she's just producing.
yeah. This is great. I love this New York. It's
Me too.
pun intended. So, and it's also revealed at this point with a private conversation with with Safari. New York whispers that she has 4 drivers.
Drivers.
Why the need for the whisper?
I know. I feel like it's for the dramatic effect. She's like, I don't drive. First, she says, I don't drive.
Yeah,
And then she probably doesn't have 4 drivers. She just is making great TV and great one liners. And then
sure.
probably decided to be like, I have 4 drivers. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, just because like Safari would react. Like,
yeah, yeah.
could New York have 4 drivers? Maybe. Do I think she has it? I think it's more likely that she knew saying that could be a thing.
Sure. Yeah. No, I thought it was great. So as I said, I love New York is just so much fun. Like as I said, when we weren't filming, after filming was completed, and we're doing press for premiere week, like she was like the belle of the ball. Like, I mean, she's just so fun, so entertaining, so chatty. And it's just like, New York, where was this? And she was just like, I it's all a lot, Fairplay.
I mean, she's like my absolute favorite on this season. Like
Yeah.
I love New York. Like I think she's the best. I love her. I think she's doing God's work, and she's my fave.
Yeah. So, well, she's my favorite, my second favorite, Victoria, but we'll get there. It's day 14. We see the guys' room. The guys' room is filthy. So, like, I made a conscious decision to have the 2-person room versus the 3-person room because I valued my sleep out there.
Yeah.
But I also valued Bobby Lights as my roommate because he's kind of a neat freak, and so am
Uh,
I.
oh
With
God.
like, I kind of adapt to my surroundings. If everyone else is a mess, I'm like, fuck it, I'll be a mess too. But like, I'm like, Bobby, are you neat? He goes, very. And I'm like, I can be very neat too. And are literally like, Corinne in New York claimed their room was cleaner than ours. It was not. So,
Here's
and
Chips is a little different. Wardrobe changes, bras not fitting, trying to do your hair, getting makeup on, and getting out there can make things like messy.
Bobby Lights has all those same problems. So I don't.
Makeups are, I swear, hair. It's like hair doing it. You see how much
Yeah.
time you see everyone like helping each other flat iron and curl and do hair. It's basically like if hair were to come in and just do my hair for me, like even for this podcast, but for any show I've been on, forget makeup. I can. It's not so bad. So Bobby
Yeah.
Light doesn't have a mane like most, like
Yeah.
a lot of the women on the show do have like this
Sure.
long hair that you have to do something with, and yeah, it's more about hair than anything else.
Okay, fair enough. So, which I do remember in the space room, with Bananas, Shake, and Tanisha. Tanisha used to complain she would complain about Shake. She goes, I have to clean up your pee all over the
Oh,
commode and your little dick hairs everywhere. I
so
was like,
gross.
Jesus.
Honestly, like when men, like I get it, but like guys' rooms somehow it's like it doesn't stop ever from like teenage boy stage, like smelly socks, underwear, mess. Like girl mess is different than guy mess most of the time. I know there's girls that are real slobs and disgusting, but girl
Sure.
mess is usually like I just was throwing on a million different outfits. So there's like, a bunch of I had to try 3 different bras to match the shirt. Like it's chaos. Guy mess when it's messy is like why do I see your underwear from 3 days ago and your socks and your jeans are inside out and like and it smells like it's gross.
There we go. There we go. All right. Victoria feels she's good with New York because she didn't use the little cock on her.
Yep. I have that written down. I have that.
I quite the visual.
Yeah.
Victoria is using
Yes.
a little cock on New York.
She says they're becoming friends because, yes, she didn't use a little
Yeah.
cock on her. But then New York does, at least to us, or make it seem like she's reciprocating because she says that she's formed a bond with Victoria.
Yeah, yeah. So also we see Larsa putting on the full court press on Teresa and says, "Oh my God, I love you so much. I can't believe we're not rooming together." I can, but so she says she wants to move in with Teresa into the Jonny Fairplay Bobby Lights room after the vote, and just reminds Teresa where she came from. And on Bravo, they never backstabbed the other housewives. And I'm like, Larsa, weren't you backstabbed on Traitors by Housewives? The answer is yes.
And also the whole show, there would be no housewives if they weren't always fighting. Teresa is known as flipping a table after being angered by someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Teresa will forever be known in history as the table flipping housewife. And there would be no housewives if they didn't constantly fight with each other and backstab each other. And or else what would it be? It would be them, like making dinner. So I love that housewives don't backstab each other. It's hilarious, as that's not the history in competition shows, nor is it even the premise of their own show. But okay.
Yes. So, well, Teresa is letting go of the Mother Teresa vibe. Rest in peace, Mother Teresa. We get a music montage video. I guess not a montage. It's a music video creation. And I do have a little inside note here. Teresa was way out of her comfort zone, but ended up loving it and thanking production for asking her to do something so different.
Oh, that's good. I thought like maybe Italian Catholic. She might be thinking like, I don't know, this is a little blasphemous. Like,
Yeah,
but I'm glad she did it because it was kind of funny, and that is a good note to know that she was a little hesitant about it, but ended up liking it because it was,
yeah.
yeah, it was cute.
So for those of you that didn't watch and just rely on us to tell you what happens, you're insane. Go watch the show.
Yeah.
It's available on Peacock week of. You just got through watching on E. You can order the entire season on Amazon Prime. And maybe there's a Black Friday deal out there. Who's to say? And also Sling, it's either the blue package or the orange package. They have E on there. You can watch live, and then of course after the fact on demand. So yeah, people go watch.
It's Jonny Fairplay, reality TV icon, Survivor Hall of Famer, and I'm talking today about Work Money. Work Money is a non-profit organization that focuses on lowering costs and raising incomes for all Americans to make American life more affordable and American families more economically secure. They provide products, services, perks, benefits, tips, and tools to help members improve their financial lives. It's time to level up and make more money in this economy. We're talking getting rich. Now, this sweepstakes is giving away $50,000. You can use this to pay your rent, your mortgage. Imagine what you can do with all the money that you'll save. Now, this is put on by Work Money, and this site has all these sick benefits, and it's free. Go sign up right now and get more rich. Now, listen, you can change your life. Now, what would you do if you didn't have to pay your rent or mortgage for a year? Listen. Sign up right now for free. Link is available right here in the show notes. Check them out. Personally, I'd get more pinball machines. I'm Jonny Fairplay. I wouldn't lie about that. It's Work Money. More money.
So, but yeah, so it's Teresa in the Mother Teresa garb or costume, if you will. Or, actually, she's wearing her Mother Teresa ring gear. Yes,
Gear.
it's a ring gear.
Mother Teresa gear. Yeah.
Yeah. And we see she kisses Victoria on the forehead. Good night. Safari's out of toilet paper. She's there to save the day. Jesse, in the middle of an interview, is interrupted and given a glass of milk, which Jesse doesn't like milk.
Like, I don't drink milk. That's actually very funny. That's like in the middle of the whole thing, and he's like, "But I don't like it." And she's like, "Just drink it." And like, you get
do I have to drink it?
Yes. For being like, no, like we're doing a thing.
Yeah, it's a bit. You have to do the bit.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't. I like milk, so I don't have a sweet tooth pretty much at all, and my fiance has converted me from 2% milk or whatever to I do almond milk now. But my sweet tooth is very lacking. But when I do happen to want something, whether it be like a creme brulee or a tiramisu or a Reese's peanut butter cup, I have to have a glass of milk with it, or I will not enjoy it.
If you were like, if it was a challenge and they were like, drink a glass of blood or like something like dirt, or they're like, you have to have a glass of milk, I would pick anything else. A glass of milk is the most offensive, disgusting thing possible to drink.
I did a show where we had to drink a gallon of milk.
I'm lactose intolerant and allergic to milk.
Yeah. Well, supposedly it's not possible, but there was this guy JP from Survivor that drank the gallon of milk, and holy moly, did his body tell him no afterwards.
Yeah, you're not. I mean, look, I'm not trying to be political about this, but milk is for baby cows.
Yep.
And then our bodies don't. First of all, there's a lot of people who are just straight up lactose intolerant, or casein, which is an intolerant, or the enzymes. There's all these different reasons, but like it's not really meant for children or adult humans. It's for baby cows.
Sure.
So a lot of people don't do well with it, but like that much of it is, I could see why somebody would be like ill. For like, I'm setting me aside because I'm both lactose intolerant and have an allergy to it. Even if you're not, especially people from like England, Ireland, they tend to have less lactose intolerance and less issues with it. Even if you're from that area, a whole gallon in one sitting, that's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and if I remember correctly, during that show was called Camp Reality. It was on Fox Reality Channel. Burton Roberts from Survivor produced it. But at some point there's some baby bird action going on with a gallon of milk. It's
I'm like not okay for the rest of this podcast episode broadcast. I'm not going to be okay, just so you know.
Yeah, well, there you go. Just wanted to put that image in your head. We're reminded of the No Word Alliance between Wes and New York, and I got to say, Wes, you are the creator of lots of things on season 2. According to you, the No Word Alliance was actually created by myself and Omarosa on season 1 when I had no idea Omarosa was going to get there, and Omarosa shows up and basically like gives me the look like,
yeah,
we're an alliance.
right.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm in an alliance with Omarosa. How cool is this?
Right. I thought that maybe you guys just assumed because like the biggest gamers, schemers, like if you're of the let's take the biggest potential villains and best people to the end and you want to compete against the best, like you, Bananas, and Omarosa are going to like assume it's each other, and so is the audience. So I figured it was that, but
yeah. So
although
no,
Omarosa
there was I think out of the gate it was Omarosa and I have been friends for 20 years.
Yeah. When
so
you know
it's just like and anyone that knows me, like, yes, I'm a scumbag on TV and but my friends are my friends and I back my friends. So, because outside the game still is a component in my life. So I do bring some of that baggage in with me. That's why, my first Survivor. So like, I don't know these people. I'll fuck them all over. I don't care.
Right.
I'll potentially be friends with them after the fact, and and that'll change things moving forward. But Omarosa and I have been friends for 20 years, so it's just like, okay, we're working together.
Right.
And then through conversations between myself and her, and conversation, Omarosa's like, Omarosa goes, I had a dream that the 3 gamers took out all these young kids. So she's like, so as effective immediately. Omarosa, myself, and Giant Bananas were the MLK Alliance, named by Omarosa because we had a dream.
Funny tidbit that she gave an "I have a dream" speech, and then called you guys the MLK Alliance. Although I don't think I have a dream speech made, but the MLK Alliance part was brought up, and I was like, "That's hilarious." She did offer Shake to be part of it, and since he was like, "I'm not sure," dumbest thing ever. Just say yes. You don't have to lie. Say yes to Omarosa. That's so dumb.
So dumb.
Well, now we have another alliance that is, but this one though is a little more is also secret sneaky because people don't realize that Wes and New York filmed Worst Cooks in America together, which Rachel Riley and I talked about on the podcast last week.
Sorry, that may or may not be production, and I'm not kidding.
I thought you were taking a screen of like a photo of our screen to send to.
Hi, production.
Hi. Hello. Oh yeah. So the Wes and New York thing though, but her getting the fact that when he looked at her, he was like, "Oh, nice to meet you," and she. But if it had been, I feel like almost anyone else in this house, they'd have been like, "What do you mean? We just filmed a show together." So thank God New York was smart.
So Jesse joins this conversation, and Jesse's just like, yeah. So this is basically saying it without saying it. This is the calm before the storm, and we're doing this, and then it's the first one to get the gun. And I'm like, Jesse, like, yes, this is all the case, but do you say those words out loud?
Right. Yeah, it's like they sit him down formally, which means that if he's sitting with New York and Wes and he knows they kind of have an alliance and Wes is trying to is trying to control the house and he's in a formal sit down with just them, it's like ask questions and get what their gameplay is and just agree. Like this is an opportunity here. But we can tell Jesse is getting to his limit because says that he besides giving himself up with the like asking, am I wrong to assume it's Victoria? But also in giving the confessional that, he wants to trim the fat, like basically get rid of Wes,
Yeah. So, I did receive note. I was spot on last week about this week's Cap It Off challenge.
Oh yeah, that you knew what it was. Yeah.
Well, no, that these are the three least funny people in
Yeah.
the house. And,
Yes.
yeah. So I was hoping we were, as I said, Shake was hilarious by not being hilarious.
Yeah, but that's only if you have like one person, not if you have three. I feel like I don't know. It was just too. It was like I swear, it's like they literally didn't understand
how to be funny. that they were at a comedy club and they were supposed to make jokes.
Yeah, that they didn't understand. Like it just did not compute. Like you look at this image and say anything funny, insulting, offbeat, make people laugh.
Yeah.
Make people laugh. They didn't understand the assignment was make people laugh. There's a million ways you could do that.
Well, I think Victoria was emotionally destroyed at this point. So
Yeah.
I think Victoria, if this same challenge happens a week and a half earlier, I think Victoria does great at this challenge.
I agree, because you know what? She does come up with funny observations and bitchy little things. So she could have just written down something that was kind of bitchy. And then because other people were Larsa is so incapable, and Safari is not funny, that I think you're absolutely right. That had Victoria had the energy and not just been so beaten down, that she would have, just through like sheer fighting back, like writing like snippy things, she probably could have done a good job.
Yeah. I don't think Larsa's funny. I don't think she has it in her, but she brings a lot to the table. And
being entertaining and being able to cause drama and being that does not necessarily mean being funny. And also like writing a joke or being witty and being clever in that way, in terms of being funny, is actually extremely hard. And it's just not Larsa at all. And Safari can be funny. Like he very intentionally does the stuff like at the top of the stairs where he's looking over or will make a crazy face. So he knows how to be funny, but like
I think he's more physical funny than
he's got his physical comedy down and knows how to use like wardrobe and but like he's not using his words. But I guess he did, because he did win this very.
I think it's the lesser of three evils.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, so we see everyone getting ready for the elimination. What's it called? Whatever. They hate it when we said elimination, nominations, and all those things. They're like
ceremony.
Banishment. Thank you. So yes, it's just like it's not. You're not doing the veto competition. These are not. This is not the nom ceremony. It's the hit list. It's the battle royale, which is the easiest to forget. The battle royale. I always forget that. That's what that's called. It's like the supervillain of the week thing. Yeah, the battle royale. No, the supervillain of the week thing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's the battle royale.
Yes.
So yes, they try. Good. I love the commitment. So, but we see Wes popping tags, and I feel this is Wes's best look I've seen him on any show he's ever been on.
Totally. I know Safari says it's his number one priority to get Wes to dress like him tonight, and that was a very. I'm glad Wes agreed to it, because Wes actually like going full in with like, even just before he went full in, just when he was dressed in pants that like fit, and like just that, before he even threw on the fur coat and the glasses and the whole thing, he already like had upgraded, and he had like it was like a glow up, and then it was like a full on like peacock up. But like I loved it too. I was like, Wes should keep this look.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, at least like the the leather pants and the black T-shirt and chains. That's a huge upgrade for Wes. So and further, I don't know if it comes across that I'm throwing shade at Wes. I like Wes a lot. Like as I said back in time, I met Wes. I wasn't a fan of him on the challenge or whatever. But I met him. He was an absolute sweetheart, like one of the nicest challenge people I've ever met. I'm just like, wow, this guy's nice. So I'm not.
He himself says he doesn't care. He doesn't like. He says he's just dressing like whatever. Which is why he lets Safari give him like the ridiculous like glow up little makeover.
Yeah. So, but no, I like Wes. I'm a fan, and I'm glad he's on the show. So Safari dresses like Wes, and I think line of the show, New York says, "What are you, the Black Forest Gump?" I was just like, holy. New York's hilarious. If
Great.
New York had done Cap It Off, it would have been good.
It would have been good. And then I think New York even came up with a second one and said, "Life's like a box of chocolates," which is funny because he's like the Black Forest Gump, which would
Yeah.
chocolate. Like,
Yes.
I was like, yes, New York's killing it. And then, yes, he is now what they also call him, a lumberjack or lumbersexual or something, like Wes's look, but
Yeah.
nailing it with the Black Forest Gump. Totally.
Yeah. No. So it's time for banishment, which I had in my notes. So I really literally just need to look at a sentence further down. And Joel welcomes us to an old Power Ranger set, and I had not thought of that prior. I never really watched Power Rangers, so but I've seen seconds of it throughout my like.
It's like
So
it was in between our age gap and our kids'
yeah.
age gap. So yeah, I never saw it either, really.
Yeah, so but it does look like an old Power Ranger set. And Joel is startled by Darius Rutger and Conor McGregor's cousin.
That was hilarious. Conor McGregor's cousin, Darius Rucker's funny, but that gets used sometimes, like when a black dude dresses up like the Darius Rucker, like. But the Conor McGregor's that thing, like, I actually was like, that's funny.
Well, I think the funny part of it is he didn't call Safari Darius Rucker's cousin.
Right.
He calls Safari Darius Rucker, and he doesn't call Wes Conor McGregor.
No, it's his cousin.
Like, you're not Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Like, Safari, you're Darius Rucker.
Yeah, Wes, you're Conor McGregor's like off cousin.
Yes. Oh, I mean, it was just a diss on top of a diss. That extra layer of the diss was so great, and the fact that it's wow, we got Darius Rucker's cousin and Conor McGregor's cousin. No, we got Darius Rucker diss and Conor McGregor's cousin.
Yeah.
Oh, Joel is so good. Yes. So Victoria's asked why what's going on in her journey, and she says it was a tumultuous journey.
Too much. Oh yeah, tumultuous. Then they put up tumultuous.
Yes.
Word you're looking for is tumultuous, but it also was tumultuous for her, I think, because she seems a little beaten down.
I think you're right, and it was a lot. I like this. This one hurt. I didn't want either. Like, this is we're on episode 8, and it's only our 4th villain banished, which is insanity because we're literally 8 episodes into this thing, and it takes forever to get rid of anyone. But this like. There's been some other losses that afterwards I'm like, the show must go on.
Right.
This one hurt, and I think it would have hurt if it had been Larsa too.
Right. Well, Victoria is the Victoria Larsa conflict is very central to the show. Victoria's emotions and personality, and obviously her in a bikini for you is central to the show.
Sure.
And then Larsa, her relationship with Teresa. So both of them, it would have hurt for the show. But I was bummed when Victoria was the one banished. I actually was rooting for her in that situation because I was like, I feel like Larsa has been unfair to her and has, just Larsa's a great character or whatever. But if I was going to just objectively be like, okay, who would I rather stay based on, like, who I think was done a little dirty? And it is House of Villains, which therefore Larsa should, in theory, be the one staying. But my heartstrings were a little like, oh, Victoria got done dirty by somebody who just, like, was being way more ruthless than Victoria.
Yeah. I could have lived with Teresa going home this week.
I could have too.
Yeah. That one would, like, yeah. I think Teresa 5 years ago.
Oh yeah,
slays in this house.
Oh,
I think
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think 2024 Teresa. I mean, I think it's a good cast pick, but I don't feel like all that venom is there.
No, it's a cast pick because the name and her brand. She's
Yeah.
an iconic
Yeah.
person. She's a very famous reality star, so it's a big get. But yeah, I mean, now I think she really is like, look, she went to prison and dealt with that, and she was on one of the
And
feisty.
All of Louis' affairs.
Yeah, I mean, all of them.
20,
Every flower
24 since she's been gone.
every flower representing a different affair. But I think her kids were a lot younger when she was filming
Yeah.
it, and I think as a mom, I could imagine if you spend so much time filming and doing that, and now they're a little older, and you can bond with them. You want to be more stable, more sane. You've been through prison, like you and your family have been through a lot together. So I feel like Teresa has calmed down, and you're absolutely right. Like old Teresa in the Prime of Housewives, or even going through the jail fight, prison thing would have been
Yeah.
like wild on this show, like throwing things at people, screaming. She used to lose her shit if somebody even like said the slightest thing to her to set her off. But she's old. She's older now and
This,
settled, and
this is
not.
Teresa on the victory lap.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, given the wave.
Yes,
So,
Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
R.I.P. But yeah, so no, this one hurt, and I felt like Victoria very softly went through the wall. I felt like that was the least
Like
jerk
bumped, yeah,
we've
flipped
seen.
out.
Like that one, I could have handled.
Yeah. I
So,
wonder
but
if that was on purpose or if it just seemed that way.
no,
But
yeah, I think they would like them all to be as aggressive as possible. So I was like,
yeah,
God, it's like we can't do it again.
yeah.
So, so yeah, so the episode's over, or is it not so fast? Well, real quick, it's a 4-1 vote on Victoria. New York kept her word; she's the only one, and Victoria is just like, "Fuck this place." And who eats French toast? I like French
It's
toast.
so funny. I actually don't really like it, but most people do. So that's why I thought it was so funny when she was like, "Who eats French toast?" I was like, most people love it and find it to be like a luxury. Like
Yeah.
they
Well,
eat
I
it.
mean,
Yeah,
I'm not a big bread guy. I don't have much of a sweet tooth. I don't really like bread. I enjoy French toast, not often, but I enjoy French toast.
it's the egg. It's like because it's like milk adjacent. It's dipped in the
Yeah.
eggs and
Yeah.
battered. And
There we go.
I'll eat I love bread. I'm
Oh,
carby. I love carbs, but no, it's
yeah.
too.
So, all right. Well, so at this point, it's like, all right, episode's over because we had an elimination. We got the last words, but not so fast. Joel says, everyone rank yourself from most to least villainous. And this starts off pretty amorous, I believe. and everyone's okay. And then
Amicable. I need
amicable.
to get now. We need to break the fourth wall with you and have you say
Yes.
yes, they all want to bang,
Yeah.
or they're in
What does
love.
amorous mean?
Amorous means like it's like in love. Amorous is
Yeah.
feelings, romantic love.
I feel like there's a little
Yeah,
love.
it's love. It's amicable.
It's
Amorous is
more
a little.
amicable than amorous, but I feel amorous does
Amorous is like
work.
if they were lining up for like who wants to date or sleep with
Well, no,
each
I'm just saying, I don't
other.
feel like
Amore,
I feel like everyone was just like they were
amore.
going along to get along,
Okay.
and that once thinking is interjected there, because I think your true players like Jesse and Wes, and to a degree New York, it's just like you know the safe spot is the middle. Like
Right.
this is where you need
Yours
and then
she puts herself at the end first, though, but then gets in that argument with Candy. But you could tell Wes the whole time is like, no, 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 there's something
yeah,
going on here. I don't want anything to do with being at the ends. There's a trick. And then
yes,
Jesse is, I think, realizes that, but also at the same time is getting annoyed that nobody, like, some people are like, oh, he's so nice. Put him all the way at the end. He's the nicest. And some people are like, oh, no, you belong more as a villain. And he
yeah.
looks
Well,
genuine.
New York's placing him at the end because she wants him to go.
Yeah, yeah, well, that's why she is being like, oh, but he's the nicest. But then everyone else is like confused and shuffling him around. And you can see that like Jesse has not unleashed the Mr. Pectac, whatever gameplay he has hasn't really been unleashed. So you can like sense the frustration with him that other people are just kind of like trying to shift him around. I think I had to make fun of you for saying the wrong word because you always are very articulate and you always know the right word. So like, please clown me. I pride myself on that, on using the right words.
It's late, Jen. We just got through watching. It's very late at night.
I know it's late at night, and it's been tumultuous this episode.
It has been tumultuous.
Yeah.
So, well, Joel reveals surprise double banishment is what's happening. Boom, to be continued. No scene for next week that I saw. I did love. So New York's got her claws out. Like New York wanted to be the most villainous. She's not happy that Candy is taking this position from her. And then you have Jesse like, hey, and she was like, shut up with your Willy Wonka jacket.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's the thing. Like, I don't envision New York like watching Scooby-Doo. I don't like. Can you imagine New York watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Like, I just do not see that. And you know,
you know what, that part I get. That's kind of like New York knows how to roast people, and then like I just like Willy Wonka, even if you've ever seen it or not, like you know when someone's like a Willy Wonka looking ass person. So like that was funny. And again, New York continues to win. But you know what though? I wanted to ask, did Wes tell her to move? Candy said, I'm the most villainous. I want to take it. I want to go. We don't know what it means. We don't know if the people, we have no idea what the double elimination, we don't know if people are automatically going to be eliminated, like the most and least. We don't know if they're going to be pitted against each other. We don't know if it's an instant elimination. We don't know anything. All we know is that Wes caught on to not wanting to be on the end. Jesse seemingly caught on to it. And then either New York caught on to it, which I think is what happened, because New York would not give up that place to Candy unless, you know, like.
I'm thinking either New York called on or Wes gave her the Iggy and it's just like, hey. But Wes does like physically and verbally give Safari the Iggy. It's just like, you don't want to be there. Right. And I'm saying easiest and worst case scenario here, because I don't, we have no clue, no spoilers or anything. So the easiest, simplest thing to do is the least two villainous people are gone, because this isn't House of Good Guys.
Yes. Yeah.
It's House of Villains.
That's
so. And if you feel, if you self-anoint yourself the two least villainous people here, then you didn't understand the assignment and you need to go home.
Right. That would be the easiest thing to do. It would be instant elimination because you just called yourself out for not belonging there. And if there's not enough weeks or time to do it or whatever, that's the way it's going to go. Or if it's instant, that would be the way to do, or to have them battle it out, to be like, okay, you're the two least villainous. Show us now you have to show us you're a villain to survive.
Well, it's a double banishment, so that's two.
It's split. Remember, this is what caught my eye. You could have people line up, but there was something in between them, like one of the chairs. It looked like there was a divide, almost like it's two teams.
That's the supervillain of the weak chair. That's part of the set.
Yeah, but they're on. This is just my. So your theory is that just dump the bottom two, which I agree with. I agree with that. To be like, what if it's all the people that are below the villain line, that are the least villainous people, have to do like some sort of instant elimination where of the least villainous people, like two are gone.
Yeah. Well, I love this in that on House of Villains season 1, I don't feel that Tanisha was the most villainous person. Like, she literally won a popularity contest.
Yeah, she was the nicest, and she also won because she made friends with a really good villain, Bananas, who was like kind of
So I think this is a way to course correct the nicest person winning a show to reward the most villainous person.
That could be a very good call. I was just wondering. I understand
they have the same challenge on season 1. Tanisha doesn't win. Tanisha is in that bottom 2, if that's what this is.
If they're just gonna instantly eliminate the bottom two. Yeah, because and we had this discussion, like, it was House of Villains, obviously, like, ironically, funny enough, when you were trying to do the right thing, Bananas got mad at you, and you seemed like you're doing way more you seemed like you were doing more villainous things when you were than when you weren't. Like, you were being a villain, but it was like the wrong thing. Omarosa, always a villain.
Sure.
And then, Bobby Light's just killing it, crushing it, whatever. And then, Tanisha, like, has no beef with anybody. Everyone likes her. And Bananas is like, helps her. So I would understand why they would be like, all right, if it's going to be House of Villains, we need to have somebody doing villainous stuff.
We don't need to reward the friendliest person.
Yeah, the person who makes the most friends or does whatever. Exactly. Yeah. The only thing that your theory makes sense, because if you self-nominate or self-call, or if the rest of the people agree to put you at the bottom too, okay, bye, because you're not a villain. Yeah. And I understand that it's there's the chair is the focal point because it's a symbol, but it just kept catching my eye that they could have stand in front of it, but it's divided by who is a villain almost to who's like kind of not really nicer, or at least the rank. So I'm just
okay. What? So if it is the bottom two, we have Teresa and was Larsa next.
Where did Jesse end up? He ended up moving in.
Jesse moved over but with Wes.
Yeah, he was like almost standing in front of the chair for a while. Oh, that give me up.
He was like, "I'm here. Where do you need my shoulder to be?" Yeah. Jesse is standing sideways just to get into that spot.
Yeah, I took some notes and was keeping track of like who was. I said Wes gets Safari to switch to the middle. Okay, at the end. Damn it! All I have is that at the end is that Candy most villainous, Teresa stayed least villainous, and then there's New York on one end, but I don't remember who's the second.
I'm pretty positive it's Larsa right there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened like an hour ago now.
Yeah,
my brain.
Well, all right. So for argument's sake, let's say it's Larsa, Teresa. I'm okay with the two of them going.
Yeah. Which would be poetic and funny if it was both the housewives, because they stuck together and was whatever. Yeah. Both got instant elimination for saying that they're the least villainous. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Double flip them through the wall. Bye.
Sure. Yeah. So, but I'm like, as I said, I'm bummed Victoria went tonight, and this is payback. This is what you get for getting rid of my favorite person in the house.
You mean your favorite? I can.
Yeah. No, she's a great player. It's strategy.
Sure. Yeah. Brilliant jokes too. Excellent.
Yeah, jokes for days.
Needs the writer's room right away. No, you know what I did like though? I like that they basically gave us nothing.
Yes.
That we don't have any clue. And as far as I know, unless they've dropped something else, like while we're doing this, like I haven't seen any like preview for what's going.
Did TV give it that? Well, I just said to be continued. I mean, like that. How villainous is that?
Yeah, that's great. I like that because it was jarring.
Yeah.
Double elimination.
I love this episode.
Yeah, like double elimination is interesting, but then just like, and you have no idea what this means. Like, end, cut to credits. That was great.
Yeah. So no, this was a great episode. I didn't dislike last week. I just felt that was the least pow of the season, and I felt we jumped right back to pow this episode.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
yeah, but, it's probably like that New York is doing, because she also was very instrumental in like some like shocking things or annoying people or getting people to say stuff, or so I feel like it was maybe saved by her last week. There was a lot of New York, and I'm beginning to just enjoy her so much that I think that's why the episode was great. But I do this episode obviously more. I mean, more. Now I really wish it was they had did a season dump, because I'm like, I want the next one. Like now I want to see episode.
Right. So, all right. So with that, Jenn Hoffman, where can everybody find you?
On Instagram at Jenn Hoffman HI, and also right here, youtube.com/aftershow for Rachel and Riley and I doing Reality Queens.
There we go. I'm at Jonny Fairplay, no H in Johnny on everything except TikTok. I'm at Fairplay Talk. Get yourself a Cameo, cameo.com/Jonny Fairplay. I think I'm number 5 or 4 best Cameo survivor. I don't know.
It's like
It's
200
crazy.
of you guys on there.
I literally got like during this podcast, I got like 4 requests. I'm just like, how late am I going to be up tonight? So yeah, get yourself a Cameo. This is crazy. Thank you, everybody. And links to everything at johnnyfairplay.com. Once again, no H in Johnny. And I'm on tour. I'm doing Survivor viewing parties all over the country. So where am I? Next week, I am in Charlottesville, Virginia. Myself and King George from Australian Survivor. Get your tickets at survivortix.com. That's survivortix.com. The following week, I am going to be at the Over the Edge Celebrity Weekend. Myself and 130 other reality stars. We are raising money for all these different causes. And link in bio to donate to mine. Mine's Homeward Trails Animal Rescue. And then the following week, December 11th, for the Survivor 47 finale, part 1. It's a 2-parter. Kind of like this. I will be in Cincinnati, Ohio, and the following week I will be in Los Angeles for the part 2 Survivor 47 finale at Jax's Bar, and Jax Taylor will be there, and myself, and I'm not supposed to say this, but pretty much the entire season 47 cast will be there as well. So you didn't hear that from me. So go to survivortix.com. That's survivortix.com. The finale is free at Jackson's Bar. However, VIP tables are available. And if you go to survivortix.com, it has the email. So RSVP to go to the event, and of course to get your table. I mean, you want the best seat in the house, don't you? So yeah, survivortix.com, johnnyfairplay.com, and everything else. I'm Jonny Fairplay. I'll see you next week.